All right. Welcome to the candy shop. We are now live. I'm waiting for my other fellas to join. But to get started, I'm Candace, and this is the Lions Den. Everybody else?
Hey, I'm Kanea.
Hello, hey, what's going on?
What's going on? I'm Kanar V.
All right. This is the candy shop. Okay, here is John Doe. I thought I added him. Okay.
What's
Hey,
going on,
John
John?
Doe.
Yo, what's going on?
Turn your phone sideways.
Hello?
Cameron said,
My bad. Say what now? Oh, turn
Turn
myself.
your phone sideways.
All right, I'm on my tablet. There
Yes,
you
this looks
go. Is it better?
good. And so we will have other people joining, but go ahead and introduce yourself, John, though everybody else has.
Hey, everybody else. I'm John Doe. Bro, brother to Candace and Kanoid, and a few others that may be joining if they're not on here already tonight. I'm from Tuskegee, Alabama. Let me see what else. I've been in the military for 22 years, just retired. Um, yeah, just doing the contract life, working. So that's me in a nutshell.
"Holy shit,
Oh,
Cameron!"
all right. Thank you, John Doe. Hey,
You're
Cameron, turn
welcome.
your camera sideways, your phone sideways.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Hey,
glad everybody is joining on. I'm still waiting for two, well, actually three more men. We'll see if they join. This is a lot, though, right here.
hey,
And
Cameron,
excuse
shift
us
your
for the
phone so we can
technical
see your face. You said, "Say what?"
excuse the technical difficulties. All righty. So Cameron, you can introduce yourself. Cameron, did he freeze?
Mm-hmm.
No. So this is my brother-in-law, Cameron. He's Kennard's brother, one of Kennard's baby brothers. And hopefully he comes back. I'm gonna pull him out really quick, and we'll go ahead and get started because we have a lot of fellas coming on. The first topic. Let me see if I can add Cameron back. I think his camera is gonna act right. So the first topic is double standards. Okay, here
Ooh.
is actually we have another guest joining. This is Daniel. And hi, Daniel. Can you turn your camera sideways as well? This is Herman's brother. I have never met you, Daniel, but I know your brother very well. Let me pull Cameron out really quick because this camera isn't working. Okay. Okay, Daniel. And I'm going to unmute you or unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
All right. Well, it's nice to meet you, Daniel. Like I
Nice to
said,
meet
you're
everybody.
Herman's. Yes, you're Herman's brother.
Yeah,
And I guess you're a youngster because you came to Tuskegee after me and Kanea left.
yeah.
Well, it's good to have you. I'm glad you were able
Sure.
to step in Cameron's, I mean, in Herman's place. I got so many people on here, but I want to start the first topic. So it's
Okay, let's
double
do it.
standard. Yes,
Ooh.
it's double standard. Men play games with multiple women, but get upset when it's done to them or women in their family. Now, this was a question given to me by a man. Um, and he basically said there it is a double standard. I've never thought about this. So I'm gonna start with you, Kennard. What is your take on this?
Well, I think not necessarily so much a double standard, but it's a matter of how the makeup of a man. You know what I'm saying? Like we're very ego driven. We're very power driven. We're very territorial driven. So we want to protect our space, and on the low, don't really care about the outside space. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if we have a woman, and let's just say we doing all the dirt in the world, crazy shit, and if our woman does it, that's a dismiss of our space and of our realm of power. That's someone infiltrating our power. So yes, it can be viewed as a double standard, but with the way the physiological makeup of a man, we're going to respond crazy every time, no matter what we're doing, no matter how much dirt we're doing. If our woman, you know what I'm saying, steps out, we're gonna go ham. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the nature of how a man is made up. Now, the society will view it as a double standard, but I mean that's just what it is.
So I'll say my thoughts after this. Freddie, what are your thoughts on it?
I agree with most of what Kennard says. I love that he's taken an intellectual approach to it. You know, and so I agree with it in general. I'm a little different, you know, but I'll start the end part. For me, I do think it's a double standard. I like the fact that he said that society will look at it that way. I think it is in general, but I've always maintained that it's not fair, but that's just the way it is. I've always believed that a man and a woman can't do the same things, you know, and so it's an unfair advantage to a certain extent. You know, I can go out there and I can knock down everybody in this complex and I'll be considered a sex god. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that guy living over in building such and such, he's the man, you know. Now a woman can sleep with two people, you know, in earshot, and oh my God, she's the hoe of the complex or whatever. It's not fair, you know, but that's just the way society is built. You know, we didn't make the world, that's the way it is because there's an expectation for women to be a little bit more chaste. What we've seen now in 2020 over the last 20 years, I think, is a reversal where now women are, you know, experiencing their sexual freedom and things like that. Now, for me, I've always been one that it didn't bother me per se. I've always stated that up front that, hey, if you want to go out there and do that, you know, you're going to be looked at differently. And even for my sister or whatever else, if that's the case, again, I've already told them you're not going to be perceived the same way I'm going to do it, but it's your right to do it. So for me, that's my take on it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for that. And everybody, make sure your phones are turned sideways.
Sideways.
Yes.
Hey, Cameron, shift your, yeah, there you go. Shift to where we can see you. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So I want to go to Daniel and hear your take on this.
Double standards. It's tough. Just like the guy prior just said, pretty much in today's society, everything's changing. You know, with the internet moving so fast and everybody really getting to see like, you know, what we've been doing like for centuries, what men have been doing for centuries. Women are now being able to, you know, use us for example and turn the tables. Now, as far as my take on it, it's just, you know, when it comes to double standards, yes, it has been like an unwritten definition on how us men do things and handle things, and the definition of how women are supposed to handle and do things and respond to it. But pretty much double standards are set in place because nobody ever thinks they're going to get caught doing something. Whether it's a good double standard or a bad double standard, it's set because you know, especially in relationships, you know, men do the things they do pretty much naturally, but for the most reason because you never think you're going to get caught doing it. Now, of course, if the woman is doing it, it'll be looked upon like, damn, like this is crazy. You feel me? Like this can't be right. That's how the man feel like. I can't believe you've done this. Like, and you know, you always get that story like, oh well, she hooked up with one dude, and while you were out there hooking up with 100 women. So it's just like, you know, you don't expect getting caught, but it's at the end of the day, you know, what you put in is what you're gonna get out. So it, you know, by definition, yeah, it really shouldn't ever be an issue. But of course, you know, we have the advantage like in today's society. But I think right now, like the tables are being turned slowly but surely. Like, you know, I think, you know, give it another 5-10 years, and mainly just through, you know, with the internet being able to like speed things up, you know, everybody's able to learn and see examples through the internet. Give it like another 5-10 years, like one side is gonna have to accept like, yo, it ain't like what we grew up on anymore. You know, so yeah, it's you just got to prepare for it.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Daniel. Kirsten, I just unmuted you. What's your take on this, on double standards and men playing women, but not wanting it done to them or women in their family?
What I can't say is like one of the like biggest secrets is like it's been going on for a long time. Women been doing the same thing men been doing the whole time. Like from my experience, from what I've seen, you know, I've you know had my share, and I've, you know, had them, you know, utilize me as a tool for certain things. So I just never would talk about it. But I mean, it's really not a double standard. It's nothing new. It's been going on. It's just people just keep it on the low. But a lot of people don't get a chance to like experience that type of underworld like that. It depends on what type of guy you are. You know, I mean, some people do, some people don't. But I really think, you know, it's been going on, but it's just a lot of times, a lot of men can't accept the fact that, hey, you know, she might be talking to me, but she might be dating four other guys too. She trying to figure out who she wanna, you know, really talk to, or she might be looking for somebody serious, or she might be trying to do her own thing. But I mean, it's really no double standard. It's really been going on the whole time. Just to be for real, like to be 100 about it. You know, that's what I say.
I de- I definitely agree. My cousin Kendrick, he said, "What's the saying? What's
Am I
good for the
wrong?
goose is good for the gander." No, you're not wrong at all. Kenny said, "Us men can't handle when the rabbit has the gun," and that's true too. Hannah
Yeah, he been
said,
going.
"Yes." Hannah said, "This is one double standard I never
Yeah, they
understood."
can't.
Also,
Yeah, a lot of men are
yeah,
sensitive. You know,
yes, they are. She said, "Also, they want you to forgive them and then drop you," and that's correct. So I'm gonna go to Cameron, and I want to hear your take on it.
I think with kind of the piggyback off what my brother was saying. I mean, let's be honest, guys. It's been going on for forever. Um, but again, once you start to shine a light on a situation, then that's when all the truth starts to come out. So I think right now we are in a kind of a transition from moving from a lot of old social norms that we've been dealing with, and don't get me wrong, a lot of it boils down to accountability. You know, what are you putting out, and are you willing to take the same amount of feedback, right? So the situation is, of course, every nobody wants to be played, but everybody wants to play the game. So it's about, okay, who lost at the end of the day, and to kind of piggyback on the situation of where everybody wants to be first. Let's start there. You know, everybody puts themselves first. And naturally, our human nature is preservation. You know, nobody wants to be
Mm-hmm.
last. And so you have to put yourself in perspective to say, okay, you have to know self enough to know, like, okay, how did I contribute to the situation? And so, especially with guys, when we are dating women, right? And, you know, we worry about what society is going to say. Okay, all right, she cheated on me. A woman should never cheat on a man. Can I take her back? She's used goods, etc. Well, the opposite end of that spectrum is where women will do the same, right? But they will lie to their partner as if nothing's going on. So internally, it does something different to the man, because it's like, well, okay, she was so slick about it and she told me lies. So we've all been lied to. So once you've been lied to one time, it's hard to trust. And so the society tells somebody that kind of women are very similar to like a car, right? So a car, you know, if a car has used miles, somebody else drive, I don't want it. But it's okay for a guy to be a professional driver. So now we're starting to transition to where it's an equal playing field, which it should have been from the beginning. But nobody's right and nobody's wrong at the end of the day. It's all about perspective. Now, to the whole family situation, if I, you know, saw my mother or had a sister to deal with, I'm not going to address the person that's treating them wrong. I'm going to address them because,
Mm-hmm.
one, you allow how you are treated. And so that's like me trying to tell her she's constantly dealing with toxic guys and vice versa. If somebody's always dealing with toxic people, they have to put themselves in perspective and say, why am I allowing this and what am I attracting? So again, if women are doing the same thing, men, hey, that's the game.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree, and I like what you just said. I'm gonna move on to John Doe, because John Doe, I don't think I asked you, did I?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Go ahead, ask me the question again.
So, what what are your thoughts on men playing women but being upset when it's done to them and women in their family?
Well, realistically, in my opinion, I think it all boils down to communication, right? We start these relationships and we get into these things where it's when we're really young, right? And we lust mixed with love and so forth and so forth, happily ever after, when we don't even know ourselves yet, right? So once we get into these relationships, really a man is out trying to find himself. Maybe everything is not in that one particular woman, So as they go out and find, and they as they go out and search for and try to find themselves in different other partners, and hurting all along, still wanting to hold on to what they have because they're not 100% sure if they're ready to let that go, you know. When it's reversed and done to them, that's a situation where you're looking at like, if I am the king of the jungle, how dare this happens to me in my house? How dare you do that to me in my house? So it comes back to like ownership and wanting to protect everything within your boundaries of your home or your relationships or whatever, however you want to put it. So those are my thoughts.
All right. Well, thank you for that, John Doe. Kanea, I'm gonna move on to you, and then I'm gonna say my thoughts. So, the time for the ladies, even though this is the men's show. And I
Yeah.
want to point this out. We drink our cocktails. I forgot to tell y'all. This is like a after hours type of thing. So sorry if you don't have your cocktail ready. But Kanea.
Yep. If you want to run and go grab a shot real quick, you got time because there's multiple people as well.
Yeah,
But
and
my
we get
main question,
crazy on here.
yeah, it's just warming up. My main question is, because I am the type of person. I'm not as of the norm as well, or what you would hear about. What you see on the surface, I'm totally different from what you might think of how I look, how I speak, and things like that. And so my question is, I'm advocating for the women, and then maybe the men can pick up on some knowledge coming from the women. Why is the male ego so fragile? That's the main question that I have. And you have the saying, once a man, twice a baby. And in reference to this situation is, say like a baby will bite you, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, oh no, no, don't do that, blah blah blah. But as soon as you bite the baby back, what the baby do? All crying, so upset, I can't believe you
oh,
did this, thing like that. So that's where the saying comes, once a man, twice a baby. If you
hold on.
have a man that has a high body count,
Wait,
he gets
wait,
praised
wait,
all day.
wait, wait.
Rashida, on the last show that we had
It
last
ain't the
week,
same.
she
It
mentioned
ain't the
that
same.
if she knows of a man that has a high body count, she will flock to him more because she feels like he knows what he's doing in the bedroom. But then when you have a woman that has a high body count, she gets dogged all day, and y'all say she for the streets, as the new term is, as we talked about last week as well. All this stuff ties together. And so, if you need some advice on to know what you need to do as a woman, basically what men do is they get praised from running their mouth. A lot of men like to run their mouth. But a woman, if she's in the same situation, you don't need praise. You can do what you gotta do out there, but you just keep your mouth shut. Just
Man,
keep
oh
your circle
my.
small, keep your mouth shut, do what you gotta do, especially if you're a single woman. And then you keep it moving. You don't have to worry about other people's perception of you. That's just my small take on the subject.
All
Ooh, the
right.
ego thing, the
So,
ego thing killed
so
me
who?
right there.
So John,
Ooh.
though, you wanna answer her question?
Yo, so you base it on, you said like, why men have such fragile egos, you know what I'm saying? And that's like kind of crazy because like if you look at almost 75% of the human household are raised by women. So we're not getting our egos from our fathers. We're getting our egos from our women. Does that make any sense? So that's
No,
that's
it
Uh,
the
For
sounds
it,
like
sure.
I mean
it
it,
sounds
that's
like an
that's
excuse, but okay.
it makes some.
uh, go ahead, boss. You good?
Oh, y'all didn't want to overtalk. You
No,
know,
no, no.
so my thing is, I said from the beginning that I'm different. I think a little different. Now I agree with you. I do think Too many guys, their egos are too sensitive. I never personally understood that. Anybody who knows me, they know that I go into people I deal with the expectation, she's fucking, I'm fucking. I don't even have time to worry about what she's doing. I have a few simple rules that I follow. If I'm fucking you unprotected, oh, I'm sorry, this is YouTube, so I have to watch my
Yes,
language.
please
Yeah,
say
okay,
frucking.
okay,
Don't
okay.
say that.
If we're screwing unprotected, then for me, there's an expectation that you're going to you know, take care of me. We there's a level of trust that you're going to keep me safe. So my thing is, if you're screwing somebody on my level, you know what I'm saying, and you're not getting caught and you're being smart about it, I never worry about who you're screwing. Look, if I don't expect to ring your bell in every last way. I don't try to. So for me, I take the ego out of it. I'm enjoying my part of it from that expectation. The other part I'll say is like your friend who's a cheater. I am also a cheater. I'm a serial admitted cheater, everything. For me, I don't go into it thinking that I'm going to be faithful, and I don't expect her to do the same either. So for me, my feeling has always been of the nature that, you know what, do whatever you have to do to make yourself happy. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. And like your friend, I want somebody experienced. When I was younger, I dealt with virgins, and that was okay. I was 21 years old when I married my wife. She was 19. We're fumbling and fiddling around together. That was cool for that time. At this stage that I'm at now, I want somebody who turns cartwheels in the bedroom, who knows how to suck and to do all the things that I want to do, that's down with all of it, because as I've aged, I don't have time to teach. I don't have time to be fumbling around in the bedroom. I also want a woman who I have limited time. So anybody who knows me, I have hours that I play between 10 and 3. I work every day. I have a pretty complicated life, family members, everything. So when I have those moments to play, we don't have time to be talking in that bedroom, about what we're going to do. Take your drawers off. Let's get down to it. Let's have a good time. You go home so I can get back to my life. That's me.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it.
Okay, this is what I want to say about about this question. Now, for me, I'm looking at this as me being somebody single and just dating. I've been the person that has played men. I looked at it as me. I don't want to say acting like a man, but I played the same game that they played, and I didn't take anything personal. And so I feel like we as women, yes, we have been doing it, but it's up to that person on, like what Kirsten says, you only allow what people to do what you allow them to do. So I've never taken anything personal. The moment that I feel like I'm getting played, I ghost them. I used to disappear. And so when I decided to be serious, like let's say with Kennard, of course I approached that situation differently. I was ready to be in a relationship versus just playing around and just dating. So we as people do have to be mature and decide what we want to do. And we know when we first meet somebody, we know what category we are going to put them in, point blank. So it is what it is. Let's see what Kenny, my cousin Kenny just said. My man said fumbling around in the bedroom like the football game. Like it's a football game. So that's funny. Daniel is having an issue with his connection, so he may not come back. But I want to move on to the next topic. Or did anybody else have anything to add to this one?
I got one more point.
Okay.
Please, I'm sorry. And I promise you, I'm not trying to be, anything like that. But we talked about the tides turning. I do want to say a comment out. Somebody said about it's no fun when the rabbit has the gun. Now, here's the thing. Even though this society has changed and now women are, like every guy on here said, it's always been happening because of social media, the time it's all coming out now. Now, here's what I always have warned women about, because I've seen this trend in a while. Be careful what you ask for, because once you get it, now it may be not what you want. There's an expression, when you pray for rain, you also have to deal with the mud. What I have seen as part of the trend now, that women are taking hold of their sexuality, guys don't care as much either now. So that's why I'm gonna disagree now. It's not as many people that's seeing the one with the rabbit with the gun. They don't really give a shit anymore. And that's why a lot of them are turning to men, because you know what? You don't want doors open for you. You wanted a whole lot of control. So a lot of guys are now saying, you got it. Go do what you can. Go please yourself.
I want the doors open for me.
I'm just saying that we all know as guys, you open the door for a woman, sometimes they don't even speak, so chivalry is dead. You know what I'm saying? You
No, if
can't
she
act the
if
same way in the workplace. And so now if somebody wants to go out to this question and be all sex actor, a lot of these men out here now, I live in Atlanta, I don't know where these guys live in. A lot of these men and women, they don't love, I want to say the word, like we loved it. I'm looking at the ages of some of these guys. A lot of these guys out here, they don't love it like that. And they turn into men.
Mm-mm.
Trying to who?
What was somebody about to say something?
Oh no.
Nah,
I'm just
what the fuck you talking about?
Nobody want to touch that.
Turn the
Nobody
what?
want to touch that.
Turn the
But it's
man. What the
real.
fuck?
But it's real.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
we're gonna move on
Hey,
from
I
that
had to make it
topic.
work.
So
yeah.
we're gonna move on from that topic. The next topic is the male version of a pick me equals simp. What is your definition? And actually, before I go to your definitions, I just want to show you what it says the actual definition is of a simp. So in the highlighted area, a simp is a slang insult for men who are seen as too attentive and too submissive to women, especially out of a failed hope of winning some entitled sexual attention or activity from them. So
Wow.
basically,
Wow.
it's a man willing to do whatever to get at a woman. And so I remember hearing Kennard talk about being in groups where they called men that like, I guess Kennard would be considered a simp because he married me and I had a child and he was willing to take care of my child.
Wow.
So,
No,
Wow.
that,
Oh,
Wow.
but that it's been men in groups that have said that. And Kennard, I'm gonna let you speak on that first.
Well, I mean, really the general perceived thing, and big shout out to my brothers that joined the show, Kirsten, Jondo, and Cameron, definitely appreciate it. And it's actually excellent to see you guys tonight. It's been a while. But either way, with this whole sim thing, it's all a matter of perspective. If you're a man, you're willing to take on hell. If you like a woman that has a child, that's on you. But if you're doing it on some fuck shit, I mean some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing it with the pretense of, you know, you can't get nobody else, but say it. Let's just assume that we're devaluing the single mother just for a second. If you're doing it because all you can get is a single mother, now that's different. But at the same time, Candace was fine as fuck when I met her, and she still is.
Oh,
You know,
you better clear that up. That's a good way to clear that up.
you know what I'm saying? And she still is. And the thing is, I mean, she had a child, but at the same time, the child wasn't even brought to my peripheral up front. We dated kind of sort of like without the whole realm of the child. So, I mean, I get it. There's certain situations where the child is the forefront and the mother is immediately trying to make the new simp the daddy, but that wasn't my case.
Yeah.
So I'll say this as far as simpry goes. If you're entering a situation as a man with a woman and you're bringing all you can bring is money to the table and all you bringing is maybe a more comfortable life, you're actually playing the whole Captain Saver on this situation, then yes, you are an MFing simp. Period. But if you're a grown man and you understand the totality of your situation, you actually internally agree with the situation, then you navigate your path. The child has nothing to do with who you are as a man. You set the standard as to how you want your life to be. And if it turns out that a child being involved is what it is, then that's what it is. But don't blame the child for you being an N word.
Yeah, and I want to say this from my perspective. And when I dated somebody, no, my child is not that. It was I didn't bring my child to the forefront. I did not like bringing a lot of men around my child. Also, my child has a father, so I wasn't looking for my mate to be my child's father. Me and Kennard ended up getting serious and we got married, and so that is what introduced the aspect of him being his stepfather as well. And now he is like a father to my son. But yeah, I wanna make it clear. Kennard did not come into the situation like, yeah, girl, I can save you. I'm gonna take care of your child, all of that, because that's what some people think, but that was not the case. So I want to start with you, Freddie.
Oh wow. Oh God. Okay. Well, I had honestly, I had never heard that term. And I didn't Google it even coming to the show. I always want my opinions to be fresh right off the dome. I don't want to be prepared. So when you read the definition, I think it's sad. You know, I love Kennard's answer, and I love the way what you just said, because I'm sure that the whole terminology applies to more than just if a woman has a
Yeah.
child. But in this one instance, I like what you said, because the old fashioned way of dating used to be that you fall in love with the person first. A woman that to me had any kind of worth, she wasn't going to bring any and every guy around her child anyway. You know, I've always
Mhm.
appreciated and respected women that had children when I dated them. And if they even said to me, well, you know, I don't know you like that yet, I ain't comfortable yet for you to meet my child, that was always a sign for me that, hey, this woman like the way she carry herself. Unfortunately, we have a different breed out here now. So in terms of the word simp, we have a breed out there now that will come to you directly and say, you know, if you can't do for me and do for my son, then blah 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 blah. And so now that puts the man in a precarious situation that if I want to knock her down, is she worth paying for it? And so the reality is, there's a saying, it ain't tricking if you got it. So if I can afford to pay for it, if I just want to knock her down, if she is fine enough that, you know what, I want to experience this one good time, and you know, and because to me, once you put it out there like that, now you're playing. These guys said before, you're playing the game. So while you're playing checkers, I'm gonna play chess. I might buy you a little few things here and there. And just like Burger King, I'm gonna get that snatch every kind of way that I want to, and then I'm gonna walk away because I ain't got no reason to hold on to it. But in other terms of being a simp, I agree with what Kennard said. The only thing if the only thing you're bringing to the table is paying for it, then I guess yes, you are Captain Save a Hole or whatever you want to be. But you know, my thing is, it's sad that we've reached that point that a man can't take care of a woman, financially be supportive without being considered something negative. So we got to that place. That's very sad to me.
Hmm. And basically, simp also means like you put the hoes before your bros. That's how it was defined. So I'm
Well,
a
now I agree with that part, you know, but the man code understands that if me and my boy get ready to do something, I was supposed to hang out with my boy this past weekend. I'm dressed, I'm ready to go outside. He calls me 15 minutes before I walk out the door. He said, "Look, man, she's just this chick. I'm at the little seminar. She showed up at the hotel room." I said, "Handle your business, partner." I sat my monkey ass down because yeah, it was what it was. Go,
Yeah.
you're gonna hang out with me versus putting some new legs in the air. That
Yeah.
was a no.
But
That was a no
I
I
brainer.
think
don't
so.
think that's simping
That
though.
was a no brainer.
I don't really think that's simping.
okay. So who? Wait, who just
That
said
right.
that?
That's not simping. That's
Yeah,
the bro code. That brother, go
that's
get
different.
your, you know, do your thing.
Okay.
That's 100% different. Simping really is uh can I say hoes? No.
Hmm.
I don't say it
Uh,
way worse.
Yeah, you can
all
say
right.
hoes
So
on YouTube.
really, simping is really is when you putting hoes before yourself, really. And to what my man was talking about when it comes to the bro code. Now, you know, of course, now if you got something lined up, yeah, you take care of that. But if it's a case where anytime she calls, rub my feet, or if it's a situation
Yes.
where she's manipulating you, then yes, then you're being a simp.
Hey,
When
Cameron,
you what's up?
that manipulation part. That's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let them
so
finish.
yeah, so that's what it boils down to. A level of manipulation, and any and everybody can see it, but you, and really, a simp is one of the
My
worst
Wi-Fi
to the
message.
game because some people will experience that
Can I
level
talk?
of quote unquote compassion or love and think that that's what they're supposed to get all the time. A relationship is not based on what I can buy you. It's not always what you're benefiting from. So a lot of times when you are dealing with, as my brother was talking earlier about, um, when women are raising men, a lot of times women will raise a man kind of for what they were looking for and not what they actually need. So it'll
Mm-hmm.
be a thing of you always got to cater to a woman and you really not catering to yourself. So you have to have a
Love it.
certain level of
Love that.
confidence, not ego, not arrogance. You have to
Love
have a
that.
certain level of confidence to be able to lead. And so for me, anytime you're being led by whether it's a woman or anybody else, you can be a simp in all categories. Whether anybody is using, you can be a simp on your job. You can be a simp with your partners. You can be
Like
a
that.
simp in any situation. It's really putting somebody else before yourself. And
Love it.
as a person that has seen somebody simp before, man, that's terrible.
Okay. I can hear you. She said it was hard to hear you, but I heard everything you said.
Me too.
So I guess speak a little louder when you talk. But I do want to
Okay.
the thing that we call the female version of simp is a pick me, and a pick me is always going to put down other women in order to uplift men. Is what a pick me is called. And so they had a thing on Twitter a few years ago saying tweet like a pick me, and the girl, it was jokes saying, a girl was like, "Oh, I made my husband dinner and I chewed it up to make sure it went smoothly down his throat." Tweet like a pick me. So it's
Wow.
like a real dramatic way of uplifting men or women that say, "Oh, while y'all are out of the club, I'm out. I'm at work. I'm doing this." So you're shaming other women in order to uplift yourself to men versus just doing you.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So that's what
Right.
a
Wow.
so
Okay.
that is I guess what a male simp would be as well.
and also
From
with
my,
the pick me
Mm.
thing, as far as a man goes, you have these dudes, especially these, these college educated guys. These, hey, I got a college degree, I got great credit, I ain't got no kids, all this other stuff.
Yeah, great credit.
Those are the one. Those are the versions of pick me's. You know what I'm saying? Hey, pick me. I ain't got no kids. I got a great credit score. I got a house and
yeah.
all that stuff. But hey,
You might
bro,
have to jump on that credit score.
yeah, like why the f are you still alone? Because you are a pick me. Because you're trying to use your whatever you think is your resources to think that you are a one up on another guy. But hey, while you got that great credit score, you got all this other stuff, man. It's some women out here that will go ahead and with college education, all this other stuff, got this great credit score. They will ride around. They will let a Pookie and Ray Ray ride around in their car and drive that MF all day and pick them up late from work, and you still at the house bragging about what you bring to the table as a freaking pick me, man. Shut up.
Yeah. So I want to hear Jondo's answer, and then Kaneg gonna go. I'm gonna pull myself out because I got to check on my baby. So I'll be right
Hey,
back. But
let me
Jondo,
go
Go
real
ahead.
quick before
Go
John.
ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
I was going to say earlier, also being a simp can, be to your demise, because you can say, hey, I'm going to, do everything. And she realizes this as well. I'm going to, cater to her every needs, buy this and that. And then meanwhile, me as the neighbor, I'm smashing her right after your date.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yes, sir. Who
Because,
was that? Was it John? John, you up next, right? You want to talk about the
yeah,
simps?
go ahead.
The simp.
Hey, one of the things, like when Candace was giving out the definition or whatever, she was like, being attentive and submissive. You know what I'm saying? So in that regards, unless there's a female that's chasing you at that moment, I believe every man has a moment of simpness at that very beginning of meeting, going after that female, because they
You ain't
trying to
lying.
get her attention and trying to bring her into the fold. And then, hey, if they shut that simpness off, and then after they got in, then that's it. Then that's a wrap. But I think that every person like does something that basically saying they doing too much, right? That's one of the biggest parts of a simp is they doing too much
Okay.
to get whatever it is they need or gain to whatever. So that when you doing that and other people see that, yeah, it's not cold, but at the very beginning, I think every person, every man has that simpish quality at the very beginning. After they chasing after that, trying to get that attention of that woman.
Well, because I mean, if you think about like even like when you're trying to sell something, uh you're gonna sell your product. You're gonna put your best, like just like Candace called it, the representative. You're gonna put the best representation of yourself out there. That's not simping. That's just selling. You trying to sell yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I think Kirsten was next. Come on, Kirsten, what you got, man?
What I can say, I think sometimes Simba can be on both
We're losing them.
Uh,
sides.
your
Because like
connection.
depending on like
Yeah.
what quality of a man or woman. Like, can y'all hear me? Is it off a little bit?
I
Can
can,
y'all hear me?
yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you now.
Okay, yeah, like it's sipping on both sides because it's like sometimes the woman she might try to impress you, or like depending on what type of man you is, she might like you a lot. So she might in the beginning she might be going hard, she like in the bedroom and or trying to cook for you and all that.
Mm.
You know the irony in a lot of this.
Or,
You guys
or
said. Oh, I'm sorry.
like no, go ahead, man.
No, I don't want to
No,
cut you off. It's like a little reverb. I just wanted to say that irony to me in a lot of this is that when I talk about doing too much, another part that's sad, but it's true from my personal experience. Sometimes the less you do for a woman, the more she appreciates you. When I was out
Yep.
there doing my worst dirt, I didn't do anything for the woman. In fact, if I wanted to get rid of a woman, then I would actually be the nice guy. So a lot of women, that I came across, they wanted the dog guy. Like somebody told the example about uh, um, the guy that's got the credit score. Kanara was talking about the guy with the credit score and doing all this and that, and then the dude next door, is knocking her down, who won't have a job, don't have a car, she riding him around, things like that. And even though I always had those things, I was that dirty guy. I was the dog guy. Even though I had all my own shit. I've had my own home since I was 17. Good job, educated. I was all that stuff,
But
but I was also a doggish kind of guy too. So I'm laying next to the woman calling. I used to wonder sometimes. Her phone would ring. Women cheat on a different level than men cheat on. And I'm looking. The phone ring. It's got a girl's name on there, and it's her guy. And she's like, shh. And this would be somebody who had much better things than I had. I'm living in an apartment. She has a big house. I'm driving, a Nissan. She's driving, a much better vehicle. And I used to always wonder, well, why is she over here with me? I wouldn't say this to her, but in my mind, like, damn, she's cheating on this really good dude, like Kennard said. But the thing of it is, sometimes when you do the worst, treat them the worst. I mean, like I said, I'm literally putting them out the house physically.
because
All right,
that's literally what when you look at the whole thing and the totality of it, a good guy is a fucking excuse my language. A good guy is a fairy tale. You see what I'm saying? So, as women looking at these good guys, this ain't real. This is gonna fall apart. I know what this dude is gonna do.
and that's
I
that.
know,
That's the sad
and
part,
that's the thing that they gravitate to. You see what I'm saying? So
right?
once again, our communication as a society is shot. We
Absolutely,
don't know ourselves enough to
absolutely,
even begin
absolutely.
starting any meaningful relationship. How many
I agree.
relationships start young and before they even 28, they done. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Good
so
point. I talked
yeah,
about emotional manipulation on one of my shows recently, and it's so many different forms of it. And like you said, that's where relationships have gone to. That's where we're at.
And
yeah.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let Kanan speak. But to me, there is no such thing as a good guy because what one person may think is a good guy is an awful person. And
But
I use the analogy of say like a father setting his daughter up with a good guy. He won't know that this guy was abusive and banging his daughter in the face until it
but
happens.
but
Wow.
And
see
so
that
he might have thought this was a good guy, but this wasn't the guy for his daughter. And so you
but
just never know.
I
But I'm gonna let
mean,
Kanan talk.
hold on real quick. It's not a point, right? It's the point that you get to in your life. right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're tired of the foolishness, you're not out here playing around. That this is what you want, and this is who you are. My past
Mm-hmm.
is my past. This is what I use to get to my future. You see what I'm saying? To who I am at this present moment. So
And
it's about like at that particular time, what you know of me, not what everybody else know of me. You see what I'm saying? They haven't
yeah,
seen my change, right? So what I'm presenting to you, if you give me this opportunity to love you and to do all this stuff, this is me as a good guy. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's that perception of it's that the walls that we have to climb over to even get to that point, that if we even allowed to get that far, So
yeah, definitely. And Miss K, Tanea.
Wanted to say one thing. I just wanted to say shout out to the simps and the sugar daddies because they drive the economy. Okay, they drive
okay.
the economy right now. They
What is
buying
it?
cars. They buying
Hey,
houses. A simp
go
is
ahead,
somebody
call me
that's
over.
doing the extreme. They buying cars. They buying houses.
Got good
They
credit
putting
scores.
your social on their credit card as a co-signer so you can build your credit to go along with theirs. Since y'all want to talk about credit score, they doing things like that. And so I feel like a simp is not going to go for a woman with standards. They're going to go for that woman who always in the forefront, you know, wear the lace front, and she got to have like they want a trophy. A simp is going to go for the trophy. And then also my definition, I feel like a simp is somebody who is unable to get that trophy if they didn't do all that stuff. So the simp he might have stank breath. The simp might be extra old. The simp might, be like very, very ugly, handicapped. I'm sorry. Stuff like that where they actually need to get that trophy. So yes, you need to buy her that car. You need to take her to the dealership, which you going to the dealership with her so you can co-sign on a car for her. That's what a simp actually
Well,
does.
what about the men? Because I know you said shout out to the sugar daddies and the simps. What about the men or the man that sees the value in a woman and just wants to do that for her?
The value in the woman and buying her a house, and y'all
The
not in a
if he thinks she's worthy, and he if he thinks she's worth it, and he wants to be, because to me a simp is somebody that's wanting something short term and that's willing to just do whatever to get it short term. But what about those men that want the long term situation and because they see the value in that woman? Are we
That's
calling him a
exactly
simp?
that's exactly what a simp is. Now I looked this up on Urban Dictionary. A simp is a man who does extreme things like that
In
for
the short
someone.
term?
But
They do
but
extreme things and they're looking for something they want it to be long term, even though it's going to be short term.
who determined? So who determined, and what encyclopedia, Google, whatever we want to use, what Alexa says, who determines what length is what? You know what I'm saying? Who
Exactly.
determines that?
I think a simp is
and
it's subjective. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
Or
of course,
subjective? I don't know.
yeah.
Right. Subjective.
So
Realistically, because society
and then
terms,
also
you
too.
can fall in love at first sight. Hell, both of you got a connection. Then what?
You're not gonna put nobody. You're not gonna go co-sign on a car for somebody if y'all
it's
just
some
met.
Hey,
it's some women
if
that did stuff like that too.
yeah, people. I mean, hey,
Oh,
some
for
folks
sure.
will do it.
Move in off top. Oh man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, about the sugar daddy thing, right? So she was saying, shout out to the sugar daddies, and
Yes,
the people
sir.
that's willing to co-sign.
We in here.
And so
Uh,
earlier, you all asked us a question about if we would like if our mothers and sisters, in so many lack of a better word, played. So would y'all be cool with you all's brothers, sons, uncles being a sugar daddy? So hypothetically, let's say you have a friend. You talk to the friend all the time. She got something else set up. She has no intention on actually having a sexual encounter with that guy, but she has him paying for bills, cars, signing on houses. At what point do you step in, or what's you all's view on that situation?
I step in immediately. But again, you can't make people like what they like. But my thing is, as
Well,
that friend, as that
it
brother.
was
I'm sorry.
it was primarily for the women
Oh, okay. I'm
because
So
sorry.
we're saying
men,
if we're seeing our sister or somebody use a man,
no,
I'm not
if
saying that's
you
not my.
all
No,
see your
no, he
brother,
said, yeah, like, all right,
Or if I see
hypothetically,
my brother spending money,
yeah.
oh yeah, like Cameron. If I saw you being a simp, I'd be like, "What are you doing? What the hell are you doing?"
exactly.
Uh-uh.
So,
I'm different. I'm different. I don't get in grown people business. Like, let me tell
I,
you something. I don't get in grown people
oh,
business. This is hypothetically speaking, but I'm gonna use my older brother as an example. My
mhm.
older brother has money, and so if he wasn't married, if that was something that he wanted to do, like somebody else said, it ain't tricking if you got it.
oh,
Yeah.
that's dead.
Well,
Point
no,
blank
I'll,
period.
I'll say this with Cameron. I'm gonna use Cameron as an example because he's my. I have not ever had any brothers, and I haven't seen y'all in a long time too, and I'm sorry, but I hate COVID. But no, if I saw Cameron doing this, I would say something because that's me. Like I look at Cameron as a part of me or my husband. And so I'm gonna say something. Now I know you, Kane. I know you're. I think it depends on the person. Your brother is a straight up G to me. So I just couldn't. If I had your brother, I wouldn't say nothing because if that's the choice he made. Now with Cameron to me is a handsome, well established young man. If I see some floozy with him and just using him, I'm gonna say something like no. And I would do the
Oh,
same with John Doe as well. So my husband has some very attractive brothers, and shout out to y'all because I've had women asking me who's single and all this other stuff. I said everybody's single, including Freddie, except for my husband. So don't try
Uh,
me.
uh, wow. But
how
I ain't mad at you.
So, but no, I would say something because it just the same like Kanan, if something was happening with you, I would say something. So that's me. That's just how I move. But oh, I thought you was going to say something, Kanan. You got quiet.
Oh no, no, yeah. So I don't like to get in other people's business. If they ask me for advice, then I will say something. But if I see my brother, I'm trying to think of someone else who doesn't have his swag
Think
that
think about think about our old friends from college because they were like brothers to us. We would have said something back then. Like
I don't know. I mean, I'll try to,
even though
brush them up on some game a little bit, but I'm still not going to really get into their business like that. Honestly, if I wouldn't be like, why are you with her and stuff like that, I'm gonna give him some game on how to get what he need out of her. Basically, that's what I'll do. I'm always on the person's side that's closer to me.
giving somebody game, it could quickly be like, she's playing you. Like point blank, she's playing you. Like this is what you have to see. This is
Right.
I've done it, and a lot of times I can call it out because I've done it. So, but does anybody else have anything else to say? I'm gonna add an extra topic in here because I just want to see people's views on it. Kanar was like, "Don't add it because everybody ain't married." Or let's see, my cousin Kenny might have a question. He said, "Question is, can you turn a simp into a husband?" A
Oh,
simp
I've
is
heard that
already trying to be the husband.
question.
What are y'all thoughts, fellas?
right.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you can turn the simp
me
into.
personally, I think in most cases, a simp is a prime candidate for a terrible marriage, and it's partially
Yep.
why the divorce rate is the same percentage of people getting married because it goes back to what we was talking about. A simp is just putting himself before, I mean, putting a woman before himself, right?
And not to
So
tell
at what
not to tell all
point?
my business. Oh,
Mm.
I just
Go
want to
ahead.
say this really
So
quick. My first husband was a simp. Well, go ahead, Cameron.
yeah, so at what point, you know what I'm saying, what really makes a relationship is give and take. But both people have to know themselves and be confident enough in themselves. Because at what point are you gonna say, uh, well, damn, I'm tired of leading? At what point can I follow somebody? Or at what point can I depend on this person to be who himself and not a yes man to everything I say? So just as we spoke before, as my man was talking about, like how sometimes being a nice guy, you finish last
Mm-hmm.
because people love using people. At what point, you get married, it may be 5 or 10 years, and then you looking at that person like, why did I marry this person? And then it starts to lead to infidelity and other things. So either you're
I
gonna pay for it in the end.
I agree. My first husband was a simp. My first husband we met in high school, and Kanan knows he was so possessive. He used to call my dorm room saying "f you, f you, f you." I feel an echo, but he was so possessive, and then he was spending his money. I remember we ran up my Sprint phone bill to like over $1,000, and my mother told him to pay it, and he paid it. But once we got married and him being in the military, things changed. The military changed him. He ended up starting a family without me. And that's what I usually tell people. He had an affair, of course, and he had a baby while he was married to me. And so that was what ended our relationship. But he in the beginning he was a simp. So I just feel like this, how genuine it are the simp's actions, because a simp can be like the guy that's into you in the beginning and that likes to chase, and once he has you, the interest it like diminishes. It's gone because he got you now, and so that's why it's not gonna work. What's happening to all the fellas? It's like they dropping off.
Yeah.
What'd you say, John?
I said, I have no idea what's going
But do y'all want to answer this, John Doe and Freddie, about the simp turning a simp into a husband?
Well,
And then I'm gonna get to Lashida's comment after y'all answer.
well, of course, I think it's possible, but I think, like you said, I don't know how stable the relationship is going to be because of what it's built on. But it's always possible because even if you start out, let's say if you're that simp, you're that guy, and you're doing all of those things, and you acquired a woman. Now, there's always a chance too now that as you get her and she gets to know the real you, and now you get past all of the material things and all of the other reasons why you're together, maybe you can find the real person, people in each other. So there's a possibility. I just think it's against it. Like one of the guys said, the divorce rate, it doesn't change, so it's hard enough trying to be in a good marriage. If we're talking marriage, even
Mm-hmm.
in the best of circumstances, when people go into it with the best of intentions, if you want to add now that you're going into it with a bad foundation, the chances are not going to be good that that's going to last because it's not built on anything solid.
Sometimes it depends on whether it's worth working on, because I can say for myself, like I think I've said it on your show, Freddie. I've gone through situations with Kennard where I could have left because of things that Kennard did, but because like I love my husband. We've built a foundation together that it works,
You just proved
and
my point. You
yeah,
just add to. If the
yeah.
foundation is built on something real, then it's maybe worth fighting for. Kobe Bryant
Hmm.
cheated on his wife. She wanted to leave. She decided to stay. Bill Clinton did what he did. If you've got a foundation built with somebody that's worth saving, then
Hmm.
maybe you say, okay, I'm going to see if I can make this work. But if we're talking about it's built on the simpness, that all the things I'm doing for you, and I'm going to these great extremes, and now it's not a solid foundation. Like you said, once you get the person now, if you haven't developed anything real behind that, the chances are very bad that it's going to last.
Okay,
on.
definitely, I
Yeah,
agree. And
those
I
are
don't know
those are
where. Oh,
those
go
are
ahead, John.
two bad analogies. You can't use Kobe Bryant and you can't use Hillary
Why?
Clinton
Why?
because those come with several
And
big
Kobe
dollar signs
Bryant got
attached
money
to it.
because I would have
You
stayed
know
too.
what I mean?
No, I
So
was only
that
using that to establish that their
yeah,
foundation was
yeah,
worth saving,
and you're right.
not the
Like you said,
circumstances.
so Yeah, because that foundation, what's really under that foundation. But in this case, a simp, like you said, like we was talking about earlier, that simp is doing everything extra, right, to gain that attention of in this case, a man is a simp to gain the attention of that woman who really don't want him. You see what I'm saying? So if he keeps trying, if she on the right day at the right moment if he hit her at the right time with the right question, then he's in there, right? But the stars have to align all the time for them to communicate and be on the same page throughout if they decide to get married and go that route, and that's not going to happen. So therefore the cheating, the infidelity, all that other craziness that happened, and boom, failed marriage. So
So,
no.
so So Lashida said, I used to question gold diggers' motives and life plan, but nowadays men are willing to do for less prospects than for a single mom. Therefore, alternate plans are making a little more sense these days. I don't know what she means by alternate plans, but I do want
Right.
to ask you fellas, since Kenny said everybody has been a simp at one point, do you guys feel like you've been a simp for a woman at one point in your life? And I'm gonna start with you, Freddie.
Like I said, yeah, if it was a means to an end, you know what I'm saying? If it now, I've never done the great extreme justice. Number one, I never had that kind of money. I damn sure ain't buying nobody no cars and houses and stuff like that. So the big gesture from me is you can eat at Red Lobster instead of Church's Chicken. So that's going to be the big gesture and shit. But so if that makes me a simp, yeah, I guess I've done that, but I've never had to. I've always maintained to me that the quality of women you attract is based on your options. Now, when I was I got divorced when I was 30 years old. I was single, I was fit, had 3-bedroom house, making good money, all this good stuff. I was out there in them streets doing my thing. My options were much greater. At
Mm-hmm.
52 years old now, fat, missing teeth, I got all kinds of other issues going on with me now. I had to stay in my lane right now. My expectation is not to go out there and think I can pull Megan Thee Stallion unless, like this gentleman said, I catch her on the right day, say the exact right thing, and I'm in there. But I go into it with a realistic expectation. Once upon a time I could attract those tens. Now I'm threes and fours and shit. But at my place where I'm at right now, I'm okay with threes and fours because that's all I'm looking for too. So it's all what your expectation is.
John Doe.
Hey, he said it already. Threes and fours.
I'm just saying.
And well, I asked Kennard, have you been a simp, Kennard?
Oh, for sure. I think at a certain point in a man's life, he catches himself in a little down part, and he starts doing some little out of character shit that what I'm saying. You wind up paying a cell phone bill for some undeserving woman because it just is what it is. You wind
He's
up
so
For
polite
say,
with it. Kennard's so polite
that
with
part
it.
about
I'll
Hey,
say this,
come
for
it.
come
paying
back
the
to me.
gas for someone that has lost their car. No,
Huh?
Come.
I said
Hey,
say
make sure
paying
you
the
come
gas
back
for
to me.
someone that's lost their card because he did that with me.
Yeah, you
I,
start doing some old uncharacteristic stuff, but as a whole, I think every man has probably found themselves in a simp-ish kind of situation. That doesn't mean they're a simp. They just made a bad decision. You know what I'm
let
saying?
me
For
say this,
sure. For sure. For
Cameron.
sure. Yes.
Cameron, you don't seem like you were ever a simp.
I mean, well, no, it is at what, like Kanard said, it's only so long you deal with situations. So a lot of times we don't know how to talk up our losses, right? So if I'm being put in a situation where I'm uncomfortable, I have enough respect for myself to walk away, and
Mm-hmm.
so that defines the level of simp. Now, if you find yourself in a bad situation, if you walk away, cool. But if you decide to stay in that situation and you are aware of what's going on, then at that point, that's when you're defined, quote unquote, as the simp. Like you said, as my brother mentioned earlier, and not even just what Kennard said with men, everybody in life is put into a compromising situation. Now, what defines you is how you deal with it, because
Mhm.
everybody makes mistakes. That's like casting, the whole Bible situation. Don't cast first, don't whatever. But the whole point of it is you can't judge somebody based off one instance. Now, if it's an ongoing cycle, then yeah.
Mm. So thank you for that, Cameron. Oh my goodness, Cameron is hilarious to me. It could we named our daughter after Cameron, so
For sure.
so he's, as you can see, he's the brother-in-law that I favor. I'm not going to say I have a
Uh,
favorite brother-in-law, but Jeopardy mentioned that if you're a simp, just say you want to pay for the pee or go find a prostitute who's willing to accept your money or gifts in exchange for the pee. Stop wasting people's time. Life is too short to be playing.
Damn.
Ooh, ooh,
Oh, I love it. Oh, and
ooh.
Lashita said to Freddie, see why would they settle for 3 and 4s? They are still playing the game. Are y'all still playing settling for 3s and 4s, John Doe and Freddie?
Three
for
of
me,
Oh, I
for
ain't
me,
settling for no
no.
damn. Hey,
I
I ain't
do.
settling for no damn threes and fours.
Anybody who knows me, the cats I hang with, they say they only mess with women in the 7 and up club.
Yeah.
That's their way to operate.
I
I
was gonna
like
say
I,
John with
I like
John
to do
Doe's
I do
with
numbers. I like
with John
volume.
Doe's, yes, with
I
what
do
John Doe
volume.
has going on. I'll say this, not to cut you off, Freddie, but with what
Mhm.
John Doe has going on, he can pull a 7 or 8. But so when he said he was settling for 3s and 4s, I was like, okay,
No,
Now don't
I
get
was
okay.
now
just
so,
saying,
so
but
don't
I
get
was
it so
just,
don't get it twisted.
hey,
That's
I was
not
just
saying
being
I
funny
can't
with
pull a
the
seven
question.
or an
No,
eight,
no,
but I like volume. I like variety. And so
no.
he
like
like
an old lion, a lot of times I don't want to run that fast and run that far. So I catch the crippled, lame, and the dumb. And so my thing is sometimes I only have enough time for the 3s and 4s. I ain't trying to marry the bitch. My thing
Oh,
is, once they turn the lights off, she is a 7 or 8. If I turn her backwards, she's a 10.
For
You know what I'm saying? Because
sure.
I'm looking for something different. You know what
oh,
I'm saying?
it's
So
cute.
that's
Okay.
what it is.
Wow. So Jeopardy says, oh my goodness, Freddie, you're crazy. So Jeopardy says, if the woman or man don't want you, leave them alone. Life is so simple. It's people who make it hard. So, and then Julian, I used to work with him at State
100%.
Farm. He said, yeah, once you recognize it, you have to deuces. So he was, I guess, referring to you, Cameron. So I want to move to the
Yeah.
next topic. Kanea, did you have anything to add to this? And my cousin said Freddie is hilarious. Yes, he is. But Kanea, did you want to add anything?
Nope.
Okay.
I said my piece already.
Well, I'm gonna keep this conversation going. We've been going on for an hour, but I'm having fun. I'm a little drunk, so I'm gonna throw a topic in there. Um, do you guys know who Erica Campbell is? She's from the group Mary Mary, a religious group. And she made this remark. She said, you can't sow whole seeds and reap marriage benefits. Your brain and body don't switch like that. You got to prepare your mind for marriage because it's ministry. As she's wearing this dress that looks like a
Uh,
whole dress. but but what do y'all think about that? Now, as I'll just say this, my thoughts, first of all, I hate when women are so quick. Oh, I don't know what happened to Cameron. I'm gonna add him back. What happened to you, Cameron? Um,
I don't
I
know.
hate her little remark to me comes off like a pick me because first of all, I'm not gonna shame another woman and call her a hoe. Whatever a woman does, that's her business. Now, with getting married, that's a whole different thing. I don't think you have to necessarily act like a wife to be married and all this other stuff. And I guess that's why people say hoes are getting married faster than the regular people or whatever. I don't know. Whatever that saying is, Bernard can speak on that. But I just thought her comment was very judgmental for her to be a Christian woman. So, Kennard, what do you want to say to that?
I mean, to be honest with you, I think the statement was absolutely ridiculous. She's coming from a place of obvious judgment. A lot of, and you can kind of see this in the whole church realm of things, to where they get, they get married, and all of a sudden their lives are the staple and are the prototype of what be, even though probably most of them was prior to getting married too, but now they're in the situation where they can be
What you
judged.
say about Kirk Franklin?
Uh,
Well, I'll say this, and that John, people were speculating that her husband, who is Warren Campbell, who's a producer in the secular world and also gospel, is cheating on her again, and that's
Yeah,
why she said that. Because
Uh,
Erica,
you
I'll
said
say this:
again.
if you guys know Mary is very, they have been criticized for looking secular, dressing tight clothes, and she's always been an advocate for letting a woman do what they want to do. So I was shocked to see that she made this comment. So
yeah.
people were saying, "Oh, her husband must be cheating on her again for her to say this."
Like I said, it's probably a situation of where she has been directly affected by a secular holder that snatched her husband up on the low. Now she wants to make these comments about, making hoes, and how I just really think the comment was really out of place and really fine. I just think she just wasted. She probably wanted some attention because her show and all that other bullshit they had going not working out the way it used. Sister ain't singing with her no more. I don't really think that she's just this incredible vocalist, gospelly anyway. So, I mean, it is what it is. No disrespect to Erica Campbell, but she could have left that statement, at its source.
And listen, I just thought about this because me and Kanan talked about this earlier this week. How does a Christian say carrying whole seeds? I didn't know Christians could cuss like that.
Anyway,
So I want to put in my cousin Kenny's comment. He
It's
said, "Listen,
called
her husband Warren stepped out, and allegedly she did too early in their marriage." Next topic, rolls eyes. Kenny, no, we ain't moving to the next topic. See this shit. But no, did anybody else have anything to say on this before we move to the next topic?
let me.
Yeah, I bet you somebody's church. I called it here first, YouTube world, YouTube podcast world. Somebody's church is going to be a sermon talking about you made it out your whole season. You made it out your whole season. Come into deliverance.
And I'm gonna hold up my finger like Pastor. I'm holding up my one finger. Like, hold up. You calling me a hoe?
Yeah, I agree with Kennard. I like I said last week, I really do think that she is speaking on her own issue. She could be talking about her husband, or she could be talking about the mistress. Who knows? But it's one of those two.
if I may interject, most of the times when a preacher or these folks in the Christianity world, when they're preaching about something, usually they're preaching about an issue that they're dealing with. I remember one time we had this one particular preacher that talked about like gay stuff every week. He was always bashing gay folks. He was always bashing this and other. And truth be told, he had some shaky dude living with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And also, when you talk about guys that, talking about bashing the women of the church, you out there fornicating and you out there doing this, bruh. You are. That's what you want. You're basically preaching about the kind of life you basically either are living or want to live. So that's why you can't always trust that stuff with these preachers.
Well, that's why you got to trust the word, because we all fall short of his glory.
And let me add this last part in there.
Okay.
To piggyback on everything you guys said. A lot of people don't know this about my life. I was a preacher. As much as I curse and all the things that I do. Yeah, Candace knows this about me. When I got married at 21, yes, ma'am.
Man,
I got married at 21. My wife was 19, and I was a traveling minister. I was the youngest traveling minister in the organization. I don't want to put the organization out there, but I was a traveling minister. I went to seminary school instead of going to college at that early age. And even though I had a scholarship to Harvard University.
Whoa!
Wow!
Wow!
But at the time, my calling, I thought, was to become a minister. And so I was actually a minister, know the Bible very well. And I'm only saying that to say this. So when you saw her comments on there, I agree with Kennard, I agree with what everybody's saying. It's very judgmental. And I went on this journey once my marriage split up because I was very angry with God. So I became black. That's how I became black. I created an alter ego, because I was
The
felt like
least
I had
black.
done everything right and my marriage failed. It wasn't because of infidelity. And I felt like here I am, this Christian had given up so much to follow this calling. And I know men who beat their women and their wives and whatnot, and my marriage was failing. So I went on this 10, 12-year journey of being this other guy, everything against all my thoughts of Christianity. And I can tell you on that journey, the day that I sinned the most was Sundays, the most religious so-called day. That was the day I did the most sinning. I literally had women come over, drop to their knees, handle their business, and go to church in that same outfit. Some of them leave church, stop by, handle their business, and go home and feed their families. I took a great deal of pride in defiling them because of that reason. And so, like I said, to hear somebody talk about holes and what are marriage benefits as she would define them. What are those benefits? You know what I'm saying? So it's very judgmental, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Freddie. So we'll move on from that because I definitely agree with Freddie 100%. We're gonna talk about the last topic, and that is the versus battle. I don't know who all watched it. It was between Gucci and Jeezy. And it reminded me and Kanea of our college days at Tuskegee University in Tuskegee, Alabama. Shout out to HBCUs. I always got to shout us out. So I was Team Gucci. I know everybody is Team Jeezy. I just don't understand why. I know Kanea's Team Jeezy.
Jeezy.
Jeezy is so commercial. Like Gucci is for the streets. Oh, let me add I think that's Cameron. I'm gonna add Cameron back. Gucci is for the streets. I was Team Gucci. I couldn't stand Jeezy. I was feeling all that energy Gucci had.
Wow.
Yes. All day Gucci, Mane, LaFleur.
The consensus was that Jeezy won. That all the
No,
radio talk heads said that Jeezy won.
they said anybody that thought Gucci won pronounces salmon as salmon.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Really?
Drinks up.
Wow. Really?
Okay, so
man.
I'm gonna start with my honey boo boo. No, like Kennard. What do you think, Kennard?
I'll tell you something. In the day, man, I really absolutely like both rappers to a certain degree. However, I'm from Tuskegee, and we country. We there are a lot of guys there, including my little big brother, Brandon. When I think about him, he reminds me of Gucci. He emulated like a lot of Gucci's behavior. And as a matter of fact, some of the shit that Gucci was actually throwing towards Jeezy sounds like some shit that Brandon would do. As a matter of fact, when Gucci said, what happened? What was this? It was the song All There. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a song where Jeezy, the late Bankroll Fresh, and Gucci at the end. This sounded like Brandon would say. He was like, "Man, Bankroll saved you on that one."
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? He saved you on that one.
Wow.
And then there was another one where, okay, at minute 56 of the video, Gucci and Jeezy was kind of stalemated to a certain degree. I think Gucci kind of got him early on, but then at about minute 56, that's when the jacket started to come off. That's when everybody was starting to be like, you know what? This shit is about to get real. Gucci is talking some real crazy shit to Jeezy. And Jeezy took that raggedy ass jacket off and then had that crazy looking jersey on. And then Gucci was like, okay, guys, look at my opponent. This sounds like something my little brother Brandon was saying. Look at my opponent. Look at what he got on. Man, I got a $10,000 suit on, whatever. I think Gucci really came for the shits. Like, he was really about the shits the whole night. He was not about no truce. He didn't have no red flag. He was like, look, I'm coming with lemonade. I'm coming with what's that other one? Damn, I can't think
I'm
of.
a dog,
I'm a
brick,
dog,
like
trap house,
my
all
trap
this other.
house,
I'm a trap
all
house.
of that.
But then this is what happened though. At 56, Jeezy was like, man, F that. I'm coming with it. So Jeezy was about that life from 56 on. So I'll say, I can't even say if anybody won. They were with it. I'm talking about they were banging and banging and banging from
yeah,
minute
yeah.
56 on to where I was just starting to enjoy the entertainment.
I
And
agree.
I
Yeah.
was just
I
starting to
agree.
think, damn, this is like my whole whole college to mid 30 life flashing right before my eyes. Big shout out to Jeezy. Big shout out to
To
Gucci Mane
Gucci.
Flair. I'm a big fan because I like raggedy ass rap like that. So
Yeah, I want to say this. My cousin said Jeezy definitely has the better catalog than Gucci. Jeezy's catalog is from 2005. Gucci has things up to date. So, but no, I like both. I'm team both. But if I had to choose one, I do love Gucci. That like I love Gucci. You don't love me, Gucci. You don't love me. But I'm gonna let Kanan talk because she's team Jeezy. So
I'm Team Jeezy. I am Team Rap over R&B. That's all I listen to in the car. Okay, I got all that.
Okay.
All of them have
Wow.
playlists that I
Jeezy is
listen to
commercial.
Okay. Okay.
depending on my mood. So
Okay.
yes, me and my husband was Team Jeezy. We jumping around the house. Every flat screen, every sound bar was going at different
That's what's up.
times. Different TVs was lagging at different times, so we'd cut it off. But other than that,
That's what's up.
every room was jumping. Reason why I say Jeezy won, main reason is because Jeezy has a song with Jay-Z, first of all. Okay. If Biggie and Tupac was alive, he maybe would have had a single with them as well.
Absolutely.
And he has a song with Jay-Z. He has a song with Rihanna as well. I was literally listening to that on my way home hard. And then he also has the song with another great, Kanye West, which is Put On. That song right there kills Gucci Mane.
Gucci, no, Gucci has features. If first of all, the Migos wouldn't be here without Gucci.
We don't
The
care
Migos.
about mumble rap. Okay, look,
But
I'm sorry.
let me get to some of these comments real quick. Tasha said Gucci left a lot of music off the table. Thank you. Long money, swing my door, freaky girl. Thank you. I'm a star. Gucci all day.
Tasha, shut
Yes.
up. Tasha,
And
shut up.
remember, Kanea, we used to like Gucci photo shoot. Photo shoot. Remember that?
Okay, all right, listen.
that was a song that
So
I know about.
back to my point because I didn't finish. Gucci Mane is for the women. He has a lot of songs that make you want to shake your ass in the club. A lot of his stuff, yes, I would definitely
Thank
like
you.
to twerk to. But Jeezy, if I was working in the trap house, literally, I would be listening to Jeezy because he motivates the thug. Hence, thug motivation one,
Well,
2, and 3. Thank you.
let's look at what Jeopardy said. She said she heard that back in the day, Jeezy sent someone to kill Gucci. Gucci was locked up because he shot the man who tried to kill him in self-defense. Is that true? So, from what I'm understanding is, no, he did not get locked up because of shooting that guy. He claimed self-defense. He was actually locked up for something else. But yes, it is true that Jeezy sent somebody to shoot Gucci. So that's why when people was talking about Gucci is on this whole negative energy, how would y'all be if you doing a battle with somebody that tried to kill you?
Right.
Now,
Right.
he,
And that's why he jumped to that one song, "The Truth," when he did "The
yeah,
Truth,"
and then
and he brought
remember
up
he
that whole
said,
thing.
"Dig your partner up." Did y'all hear that part when he
Yeah.
told him to do that?
What I liked about
Well, I
what
mean,
they did. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, my
I
brother.
said, I mean, no problem. At the end of the day, they was trying to bring views in, right? Because they had to spark whatever. Because I heard them talking, and they said, "Yo, we had 1,000,000." You
Right.
see what I'm saying? So it's all trying to bring us in. They
Right.
had already knew. They knew what
Yeah,
the catalog of the everything was already set. Which song gonna play next? How they gonna do this? Da 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 da. Da. They wasn't going off the cuff. There was no acapella going on in there.
yeah.
Everything was harmonizing. you know.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. And
but
I
go ahead,
kind of
Bo. You
felt
good?
like even though Gucci was throwing his shots, I still kind of felt like it was like scripted, like that's what
Mhm.
they had planned to do throughout it. Because at the end, all of a sudden he's like, much respect, blah
So
blah
that's where
blah.
I want to go. So
We
that's where I
going
want
to
to
the
go.
compound.
So that's where I want to go. Like Kendrick, let me state for the record, I'm old school, so I don't listen to new rappers, Migos and them and that. So I'm more Tupac, Biggie, all that kind of stuff. What I loved about it though was the energy, and I thought it was smart on Gucci's part that my TM, which is Tasha for those who
Tasha,
don't know, she enlightened me on the fact that she was upset that Gucci didn't put a lot of his old music because she always says she like
yeah,
old Gucci versus the new improved
because
Gucci. But
everybody was saying this is the clone, and
but
because he
here
was,
but
messing up
here's
his lyrics.
here's what I told here's what I said to her. I thought it was smart on his part you got 1.6 million viewers to highlight your new music because
Yeah.
that was where people who ordinarily wouldn't listen to your music, me, now I'm hearing your new shit. And then think about it, how they ended at the end, like my brother said, because now you've just reattracted people to the genre in a way that you never could. And it's very ironic. It's awfully suspicious that the next day Jeezy's got a new album dropping. So
Oh,
they got free publicity, free
oh yeah.
advertising. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes,
And they did
yes,
my song
yes.
at the end. I guess me and Kanae's song. So Icy, that used to be our song in the Soul End doing the
Of
Yeah.
Soul
course.
Soul Red
If if
Review.
if if you just said that, dig your partner up and that hurt your soul, I'm not gonna sing with you no more, bro. It's time to go.
That's right.
You feel me?
That's right.
Yes.
It's time to go. Show over. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yes,
reach this
that's
time
true.
limit. I'm
But
not gonna sing with you. See,
I
but
still think it was for show because like Gucci was saying some crazy stuff. And I'm sorry if I was Jeezy, unless Cameron's back, unless Jenny Ma, because I cannot stand Jeezy with Jenny Ma. Unless Jenny Ma has transformed him. I'm sorry. If he would have told me to dig my partner up, I would have been like, what's up? What's like it's on and popping
yeah, I
now.
mean,
What's up?
like
So
everything else, it's all scripted to bring us in.
Very
yeah, I
much
think it was
so. Very
too.
much so.
Cameron, what are your thoughts on it? On the Jeezy and Gucci versus.
Me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Mm, it was one for the culture. Pure entertainment. If you take
Yep.
it outside of that, then that really doesn't make sense. You're talking about a guy that allegedly sent, a couple guys or use a stripper to set up Gucci. He ended up killing
Mm-hmm.
one of his homeboys. Um, but like you said, pure entertainment. But I do see a sign of growth. Um, and like you said, I mean, a lot of them expecting them to be on the same thing they were 20 years ago. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, I mean, it's no way possible. But for entertainment purposes, I thought it was great. Gucci delivered 100% street, what people were looking for. And Jeezy, in my opinion, has a much better catalog, much better lyricist,
Look
much
at her
better
face.
No.
artist.
Look at her face.
But one thing you can't take from Gucci is his persona and stage presence and real
Mm-hmm.
street
Yeah. I
credibility.
love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Zone
Uh,
6.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's why when Kanal was talking about earlier, anytime I spoke with him last night about the verses, we talked about it. But anytime I hear like Gucci, some of the songs, man, look, I remember as a young guy, riding around with the old heads, listening to that, listening to that lifestyle, being amongst that. So I know the influence Jeezy and Gucci had on the culture, and I think a lot of times the growth that they displayed um, is what a lot of times everybody our culture needs. It's showing where,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, these guys really were at each other, but now they on a whole different wave. and it's cool to be on that. It's cool to have some form of change. Now, I don't know about all the clone situation and all of that, because really, to be honest, the whole music entertainment, if you ask me, is for sure.
Yeah.
Hey,
Because, and if you are really still into that street, it's no way possible that you can still be into the streets heavy. Now you can have
hey,
affiliates, but there's no way you can be in the streets heavy and still be an artist and have the longevity and the catalog both of those two guys have. Now, like I
And
say, great entertainment, great entertainment.
I,
Like I
I
said,
just thought
I
about something Cameron just said. Cameron just brought up one point. With all the stuff all the stuff that's been going on, all the shootings of rappers, of
Right.
musicians,
Right.
and for them to end the night the way they did,
Hmm.
to sit there and say, "Hey, let me put this beef behind
mhm.
us." I thought I'm just thinking about that's another political play they just made on the industry to sit there and say, "Let's work together. Let's get this money. We're going to the compound."
Right.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
for
Yeah.
sure. Because
Yeah, and that's
if it was real beef, it's no way I'm about to be at the same club as you,
But
a couple
and
sections down.
see, that's what I'm trying to say. They're trying to change that mindset of how they function because they know we're doing more harm than good, especially to the culture and the music industry.
yeah,
And,
and if y'all saw the beginning, Stacey Abrams opened it up. So with
I
her
thought
coming
that was
on, because
awkward.
I know it was awkward, but I think it was much needed because
At Magic City,
in the state of Georgia, we have two races: the race
That
with
was a
John
smart
Ossoff
political
and the
move.
race with Warnock. And
If
so we need them elected to
I told
control
you.
the Senate for the rest of the country.
that was a
So
smart
I'm gonna say
political
this.
move.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this now. Make sure you vote for Warnock and Ossoff. We need to take over the Senate because if we lose, then Stacey Leffler and the other guy will win, and the Senate will be a Republican Senate. So even though the thing with Stacey Abrams was awkward and cringy, it was needed, and
You
I,
gotta
Yeah,
I
you gotta
like
go
it.
where the people
it,
are.
it,
You
it
gotta go where the
sounds like,
people are.
And
well,
then
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
going back to them in the streets, I agree with Cameron by saying that they're not really in the streets because if they were, they would end up like Nipsey Hussle because he was in the streets. He was still in his community and he was shot by somebody in his community.
Which is
And
another
so,
conversation within itself. Like,
yeah,
I think, at some point we have to start being proactive and instead of reactive. And we live everything based on emotions and perception. We have to start controlling the narrative and stop allowing people to control us. And so, like I said, me personally, I try to look at the inner workings of a situation and analyze the for totality, and that's what I appreciate about the verses. Number one, it was hella entertainment, but two, it's starting to allow us to control the narrative. So one, being that we went through a phase of COVID and what we perceive as entertainment, and then we allow Instagram to use platforms to where now we can kind of correlate everything and control like how we're keeping our dollars within our community, which is real group economics, which probably that'd be on another podcast.
yeah. Well, I hope to have y'all again. I do want to go to the last topic. So this is open. So I'll start with you, Freddie. Do you have anything that you want to introduce to the group to talk about before we leave?
No, I just want to invite all you people. I'm launching my YouTube channel next week. It's called Real Talk for
Yeah,
Real Men. So look for me, subscribe. I hope to see y'all there.
yeah.
For sure.
Make sure you support and subscribe, and please
Toast up,
subscribe to
toast up.
my channel as well. Um, John Doe, do you want to ask a question to the panel?
No, not really. I appreciate you guys for having me on here. Thank you for this therapy. You know what I'm saying? To speak
Oh,
and to gain some knowledge.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate
yeah.
it.
Well, thank you for coming on. Kennard, do you want to ask a question?
Well, I don't want to ask a question. I just like the topics that we talked about. And, given the COVID-19, I actually have not seen my brothers in person in a long time.
Mhm.
This was absolutely phenomenal for me to see my little, well, hell, big grown brother Cameron with all the knowledge that he gave tonight. Big shout out to my big brother John Doe. Definitely great insight, and always glad to be with Lee, Kanea, and Candace on this platform. And I'm just thankful for this night.
Oh, thank you, Kanar. You always you say the right things. That's why I married you. Okay. Cameron, do you have anything you want to ask the panel or anything you want to talk about?
Not in particular. I would love to continue this engagement possibly next week.
Yeah.
We'll come
Well,
up with some topics, and I
well,
also
next.
want to shout out to you. Sorry
Oh,
for
thank
interrupting.
you.
For kind of bringing us together and making this happen. So yeah, toast
Oh,
up to you.
oh, thank you. That's why I love my little Cameron. No, I'm but no, that's why I love all my brother-in-laws. I'm not gonna say little because they are grown men, but I love my brother-in-laws. But I took a liking to Cameron because of what he represents. He's a very good guy, and I know his mother loves him. She loves all her sons, but Cameron, I'm gonna move to Canada.
Wow.
All right. I just wanted to say that I co-sign with Kennard what he says as well. Team Scorpio as well. But I just wanted to say with the COVID going on, this is therapy.
Yes,
Someone
it
else
is.
said that this is therapy as well. And with it being therapy, it's entertaining because we have to be in the house all the time. But we get to have and receive perspectives from real people rather than
Yes.
listening to it on television.
Yes.
Again, hence the comment that was made about changing the narrative. And then also, I really do appreciate that all of us, we have valued and different opinions,
Of course.
which which is needed as well because of course we're different people. Nobody has the same. We don't all think the same, and so we can relate to someone in the audience who might think like us, and you might relate to someone else who might think like you. That way, we can all touch various personalities and bring them to the channel. So adult channel. So I enjoy it 100%.
Yes. So I want to thank everybody for joining it, especially all of my brothers, because I've never had brothers before. I'm a girls. I grew up with sisters. So I want to thank all of my brothers, John Doe, Cameron, and Kirsten. I don't know what happened to Brandon because we asked him as well. So hopefully he'll be on. I do the ladies' night next week, and the men's show is 2 weeks from now. So I would hope you guys join again. I enjoyed everything that you have said. This is the only way that we could communicate because of COVID now. So I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you everybody for watching the show. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Candy Shop where we talk about the media and relationship topics. Also subscribe to Freddie's channel, Real Talk for Real Men. And what else? Oh, Saturday, tomorrow is your show, Freddie. I'm gonna be
Yep.
on there. I don't share it on my page, but I'll be on. I'll probably share your show tomorrow. I just
Thank
don't
you.
like sharing it because you be cussing, and I don't want people knowing. I want people knowing
I
all
gotta
the
tone
stuff
it
you
down
say.
when I come to YouTube. I'm gonna tone it down. I promise.
Yes. But I want to thank everybody for joining. We're going to do this again. And I'm signing off. So let me go ahead and
Everybody,
end it
peace. Have a
now.
good week.